Let's talk about a choice. A choice made 2,000 years ago that, believe it or not, explains so much about your brain, your phone, and why we all seem to be choosing comfortable lies every single day.
Now, everything we're about to unpack comes from the brilliant work of Marynês Pereira, a neurobusiness specialist with decades of experience. We're diving deep into her article, which basically asks, do you want the truth or do you want the comfortable lie?
You probably know the story. A crowd gets to choose free Jesus or free Barabbas, a known criminal. And what do? They scream for Barabbas. It's so easy for us to look back and judge them, right? But the real question is, why? What was going on inside their heads that made them pick the obviously terrible option? Well, the answer tells us pretty much everything about our own lives right now.
Because that choice, that ancient choice, it isn't history. It's happening every second, right there on your phone and right inside your skull.
The parallel here is, well, it's pretty chilling when you think about it. Back then, they went with the path of least resistance, what felt safest in that moment with the shouting mob. And today, we do the exact same thing. We're not choosing deep, challenging knowledge. We're choosing the endless scroll, the easy outrage, the algorithm that just feeds us more of what our little tribe already thinks.
And his quote from Pereira absolutely nails it. This isn't about being smart or dumb, it's about addiction. We've literally become chemically hooked on getting that nod of approval from our digital herd. So, how in the world does that actually work? Let's pop the hood and look at the actual neurobiology of why your brain is craving these comfortable lies.
Okay, this is the key. Your brain's reward system, the mesolimbic circuit, is basically going bankrupt. And get this, the brain of someone hooked on social media likes is running on the same neural dictatorship as the brain of a crack addict. You've essentially handed the keys over from your rational thinking brain to this very primitive, reward-seeking part.
So there's a name for the process that causes this bankruptcy. It's called downregulation. Think of it like this. When you just flood your brain with cheap, easy hits of pleasure, the little receptors that are supposed to feel that pleasure start to shut down. They're trying to protect themselves. And the result? You need more and more of the drug to feel less and less.
And Pereira has the perfect analogy for this. Imagine your dopamine receptors are like little locks. Now, real, deep knowledge, that's a key that fits perfectly. It's satisfying. But likes, notifications, memes, those are all fake keys. You're just jamming them into the lock over and over and over until the lock itself just gets worn out. It just doesn't work as well anymore.
And here's the consequence of all that. You're not choosing the shallow gossip over the deep book because you're lazy. You're choosing it because your brain has literally lost the ability to get pleasure from things that require effort. Real thinking takes energy, and it's a price your addicted brain just isn't willing to pay anymore.
And this isn't just some abstract theory, this cognitive bankruptcy, it has real tangible costs in our everyday lives.
I mean, does any of this feel a little too real? That professional who literally can't focus long enough to get through a simple report without a hit from their phone. That constant chase for online arguments because, let's be honest, outrage and conflict give you a quick little shot of dopamine. And this preference for the summary of a summary instead of the actual meal of knowledge. It's like living on sugar hits.
But it's not just a chemical thing. Oh no. There's an even deeper, way more primal force at work here. Our desperate need to belong.
The second you feel that fear, the fear of being canceled, of being kicked out of your group, your rational brain, the prefrontal cortex, it just gets silenced. Your emotional, primitive limbic system stages a coup and takes over. It's all driven by fear.
And this is why that fear is so incredibly powerful. It's running on ancient software. I mean, for our ancestors out on the savannah, getting kicked out of the tribe wasn't just a social problem. It was a death sentence. You were going to get eaten. That programming, that isolation equals death program, is still our brain's default setting.
So you're left with this fundamental choice. You can be the idiot in the herd, right? Driven by that primal fear, just looking for safety by repeating whatever the group says. Pereira calls it social autocomplete, which is brilliant. Or you can be the solitary sage, using your higher brain to actually think for yourself and pursue the truth, even if it means you end up standing all alone.
Okay, I know this all sounds kind of bleak, but here is the most important part of this whole thing. You are not doomed to be a puppet of your primitive brain. You actually have the power to rebel.
We need to reframe this completely. Choosing the hard truth, questioning your own group, that's not a bug. It's not a mistake. It is the absolute pinnacle of what the human brain can do. It's a high-performance cognitive act where your conscious mind actively overrides that fear-based default programming. It's what you were built for.
Which brings us to this incredible line. The fight here isn't just about being right or wrong. It's about choosing to be human. Radical integrity, that is your rebellion against becoming a biological robot that just runs on the code of fear and conformity.
So here's the bottom line. It is so easy to blame the algorithms, to blame big tech, but they're just holding up a mirror to what we already want. Every single time you choose the easy meme over the difficult article, you're an accomplice in your own cognitive decline.
And so we're left with Pereira's final piercing question. And be honest with yourself. Would you have the guts to be hated for telling the truth? Or would you go along with a lie just to avoid being alone? Your nature gave you a brain that seeks the herd out of fear, but your consciousness gave you the ability to tell that herd to go to hell when you see it's walking off a cliff. The choice, well, the choice is always yours.
This entire breakdown was based on the article Comfortable Truth or Lie by the amazing Marynês Pereira. Thanks for diving in with me on this one.